What's going on, guys? Fringe Bob back here with another video. Today I'm going to review the new game that just came out. It's free to play. It's called Hawken. It's kind of like a first-person shooter, except you're in a giant mech suit. And right now I'm just going to show you guys what you basically get at the beginning. So you basically get a few consumables and stuff like that, and they give you some of that. You start off with a basic bot that kind of looks like a TV, and you can't really do much with it. You can't really upgrade it. Like, you do have a certain, like, you can buy stuff, but you really just can't buy anything right off the bat because you just don't have enough money. The money you get in game is the blue stuff, and the money that you can purchase with microtransactions is the stuff in the red. Personally, I don't think this is a game where you should personally invest, that kind of money into it, but I mean, if you want to, no one's gonna stop you, I guess, so, you're crazy. But, you basically get an emote that you get at the game, which is, the basic one. And then you can get a few other ones. My favorite one's probably the teabag one. I think that one was really funny. And at the end of the game, you can, all emote and stuff and throw your little emotes down. It's really funny. And then the holo charges are basically, you get to, throw that down during a battle. And you get 5 charges, which I think is kind of stupid. I think you should have infinite amount. But, I guess not. I guess it's like that to keep from being spammed, but, I don't know. You also get to adjust your reticles, but then again, if you want to like change them or anything, it costs not the in-game money, but the stuff that you have to purchase in order to get it, which I find really dumb. But maybe you can convert it somehow. I don't know. But yeah. So So I'm going to invite some friends. And there's another thing I also don't like about this, is that you're not going to see it now, but you can't have more than 3 people in your party, which is really dumb. You'll see it eventually, but not right now. The controls are a little weird at the beginning, but once you get the feeling for it, it's not that bad. It kind of reminds me of a little bit like Warframe, except first-person shooter instead of third-person Space Ninja, which is kind of nice. They have quite a few game modes. The only game mode I could really find was in Team Deathmatch. I tried Missile Assault, didn't work. And, yeah, see, right here. You can't have more than 3 people in your party, which is stupid. I really do think that is stupid and something they need to go back and fix. But, other than that, it's not a bad game. It's actually pretty well done, for the most part. The multiplayer is pretty good. The weapons in it are pretty decent. Besides the fact that you can pretty much buy your way to the top, not that bad. This isn't really a game where I would do that, but if you wanted to, go crazy. But once we get the match made all sorted out, we queue up to go into a team deathmatch, and the mech system is kind of like in a what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of like a tree sort of thing. Can't remember the word, but you start off with the basic one, and then you can branch out to the ones next to it. You can't go straight ahead and buy the one at the top or the bottom. You have to basically branch out in a certain way to get what you want. And it's not, like, I don't disagree with that, but I think that you should be able to buy any of the bots on the bottom, at least for free, or to try them out. I think that would be, something to take into consideration, in my opinion, but, yeah, it's whatever. So we found a game, and we're going in, and this is quite literally the first game I've ever played, and I'm not, like, it was a pretty good first experience for me. Like, I'm not an alien to first-person shooters, so this really wasn't that bad. So yeah, just gotta get used to the controls. It's kind of like if everyone was Bastion and they all had different guns, this is kind of like what Hawken is like. Because if you hold down B, you can repair yourself, which is super nice. And you can use all of your items and consumables with YXA, and so on and so forth. Your two main guns are controlled by your triggers. You can actually fly, which is really cool with the bumpers. You can also do like a boost, kind of like sprinting, and like a dodge, sort of, with the left bumper, which is pretty cool. And to fly is the right bumper. So, we're waiting for the game to start up. We still gotta wait for a few more people. Matchmaking isn't that bad. It's really not that slow, which is pretty nice for a game that literally just came out. So we're on the opposite team, and I'm still learning the controls. And the guy I'm playing, the two people that I was gonna play with, have been playing for quite a while, or at least, you know, longer than I have. So yeah, this is pretty much the game. It's really kind of cool. Besides the frame rate, you know, being a little, you know, droppy at sometimes, it's a pretty good game. It starts you up with all of the kind of like if you're booting up an old Windows computer. It's kind of like what it is at the beginning, like the little HUD loading screen, which I think is pretty nifty. I'm still learning all the stuff, and I just activated my ability by accident, so whatever that did. You can boost around through the map pretty easily. You do have a fuel gauge though, so you gotta watch out for that. And you don't want to do what I did, which is basically where you run out in the open, because you will get gunned down by pretty much everyone. Because, you know, you're like a level 1 robot. But you still, as like a level 1 robot, you have a decent amount of health, and your guns really aren't that bad. Because you have a tow missile, and if you can land that tow missile, you will do a ton of damage. Like, you will do quite a bit of damage. So, right now I'm going to fly a little bit. The flying controls are a bit, they need work, to say the least. They're really not that, superb. Because I'm trying to fly up, and it won't let me go up in the air. And it's really quite annoying. It's kind of like Boba Fett, trying to fly around with Boba Fett in Star Wars Battlefront, except when you go over a ledge, you don't plummet to the ground. But yeah, so on the right here we have one guy that is who's either been playing for a while or bought like one of like the nicest robots in the game.
Enemy sighted.
But it's you basically get like two massive shields and a ton of guns, and it's, you know, you're a juggernaut sort of. And I'm still trying to like jump and stuff, so yeah, it's not a bad game. It's a pretty good game for the most part. There would be a few things I would tweak, which would be like, you know, the cosmetics and stuff, but you know, we'll get to that later.
Enemy sighted.
So you can actually point out a target pushing down on the right thumb pad, I believe, and I just activated the little hollow emote thing. I really don't know what it's called, but I activated it, so you know. And I think this is like the first person that I actually kill, because I get to jump on him. And you see that tow missile does quite a bit of damage. So I'm still just kind of like, oh sweet dude, this is so cool. And I'm still kind of just like, that, in that mood. Still kind of, you know, just jumping around and all that. I couldn't like quite walk through that, which I found was odd, but you know, it's whatever. So I'm about to jump down and attack two people that I thought were there, and they were gone, and I was like, where did they go? And at this point I still don't quite frankly realize that I can repair myself. All you have to do is hold down B, so that's all you really need to know. And then I get blown up by that guy, which was awesome. And when you die, it's kind of like in Overwatch, when you kill someone as Reaper, their soul drops on the ground, kind of like that, and you can get a little bit of health from it. So, you know, if Bastion and Reaper decided to go make a first-person shooter, this is what it would be. you would have Hawken. And that guy decided to jump down right in front of me, which was a big mistake for him because I have 2 misses. But I don't know why I ran away. I had a ton of health, but I did. And the nice thing about the maneuverability is if you just like pull back on the D-pad, or not on the D-pad, on the left thumbstick, and you press the left bumper, you will actually do like a little boost turnaround. You also do boosts if you like walk left, like straight, and press the boost button. You'll actually do a little burst left or right, whichever way you're pointing it. And if you're pointing forward, then you'll do like a little sprint with your rockets. But you do gotta watch out because it does use fuel, and that isn't a lot of fun. Also, the game has like a little kill counter right above your little health bar. You see that little yellow dot, kind of like a skullish thing? That is how many people that you've killed. And see, now I killed another person, so I get 2. And then I killed another person, so I get 3. And yeah. And I'm pretty much at this point still don't realize that I can self-repair. And I think in the party I'm like, gosh, how do I heal myself? How do I do that? And yeah, it was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun in this. And then when you get jumped by a robot and you win the fight, sorta. Now at this point, I think this is where I learned that I can self-repair like Bastion. Because if you repair out in the open where people can hit you, you will take a lot more damage than you should. Like you will take kind of like chugging in Dark Souls. If you hit someone when they're chugging or counter damage, there's basically a little penalty thing that comes up and hits you. Not that will come up and hit you, but you basically take more damage for repairing and getting damaged because, you know, it leaves you vulnerable. So that's just something you gotta watch out for. So don't repair out in the open. You want to run off and hide. And especially if you're being chased, I wouldn't run off and repair because they would just, like, as soon as you would repair what you just were damaged by, and you get hit by something, you're gonna lose about just as much health as, or let's go back to the health that you were at before. So it's really not that. It's not worth it. But the repair thing is pretty nice. You can, for those of you wondering, you can change the repair bot on your on that, you know, comes out. But I wouldn't recommend doing it. It's really not that. See, look, I took like a bunch of damage from repairing out in the open, and I think I die here. No, wait. No, I don't. I don't die here. What am I saying? And then I run off. And I think I'm being chased by one of the guys in my party. So I stop here on the bridge, and that guy doesn't see me, so I'm going to try and sneak in and repair before he does. So he eventually does turn around and see me. I boost out of there, go up to my teammate who's just camping up here the entire time, just mowing people down. And I am attacked by 2 people, and I'm like, yeah, no thanks, pass on that. So then thankfully there was a teammate bot over here for me, and me and my little TV self-repair up, and we're gonna go back in there.
1 minute.
Wreck some booty. Oh, also, once you get a certain amount of kills, I should have mentioned this before, but you'll, like, I think it's like, they group it in 5s and 10s, and stuff like that. So you see that little blue skull right there? There used to be like about 4 yellow ones. Well, if you get 5 kills, it comes up with a blue skull, and then so on and so forth. See, like, I just got another one right there. So once I get 3 more of those and get to like 10 kills, that should combine into like, I want to say like a red skull, but I don't know. The game ends before. This guy gets the final kill. If you get the final kill, it shows up at the end like this guy killed the final dude. Yip yip hooray. All that fun stuff. And it's placed in last to first is the way it displays. I got second that round. I was super hyped about that. Well, you know, for fighting people that, you know, this is literally the first game I played, and I beat them, which was really funny. Like, that guy pretty much in first place on our team doubled the top person score on the other, which I thought was funny. You also get a ton of money for winning and leveling up your first game. You get a ton of money, which is super nice if you want to go buy another bot, which is something I don't do until after the second game. But I don't think I recorded that, sadly. But I did get, I want to say the attacker bot. It was the bot to the right of the tree.
Five minutes remaining. Enemy sighted. Enemy sighted. Enemy sighted. minutes remaining. Enemy sighted. Enemy sighted. Enemy sighted. Mission success.